Hey ladies, how is everybody?
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Who's all here? I'm not scrolling though. I see Shelby and there's that Maggie lady, and Lorna and Kim and Louise. Ah, somebody's putting Christmas trees and Santa Clauses in the chat. Lorna and Kim and Louise. Whoop. One of us has to mute. Somebody has to mute the YouTube. Santa Claus is in the chat. Lorna and Kim and Louise. Whoop. One of us has to mute. There we go. Has to mute the YouTube.
Hi, Jody.
Hey, Jody.
And Sandy.
There we
go. All right, I still hear.
Yep, I think it's Susan. She's working on it.
I think it's me. I'm trying to find what tab I had open.
Yep, just look for your YouTube tab and just mute the YouTube.
There we go.
There you go. Yep. Hey, Lucy.
Just realized I can't see chat. I need to grab my iPad.
Okay. Hey, Sandy. Goodness, everybody ready for Christmas?
Bite your tongue.
I know.
I'm not.
I'm not either. Usually I am all the way done. Like everything's all wrapped, everything's done. This year, not so much. Look at Shelby showing off. Yes. Hey, dear B.
Hi, dear B. Hi, Martha.
Hey, Martha. Pretty much ready.
Hi, Janine.
Lorna's basement is almost done. Very nice. Hey, Janine.
Why can't I see chat on my iPad even?
I'm not too far behind you, Becky. I have very mixed feelings on it this year. One day I'm like normal Christmas attitude, and the next day I'm like, yeah, are we done yet? I'm very hit and miss with it. Hey, Natalie.
Hi, Natalie. Hi, Becky.
There we go. Now I can see chat. I didn't think about having two devices so that I could see chat.
Oh, you're fine. Hey, Christine. Yeah, I do it all the time. All the time.
Oh, it's nice. I can bring it very close, and then with my glasses on, I can still see it. Yep. I like that.
Yeah, I do the Streamyard Chat up here on my big screen. And then over here, I have the YouTube one. That's why you always see me profile, is because I'm reading on the big screen.
Well, that's what I meant to do. Yeah, I won't even go there. Tech issues.
I know. I've been there and done that. It's always really fun when something goes a little wonky and I wind up having to switch the whole thing to the other camera. Yeah. I'm all kinds of discombobulated then. And Maggie has great fun with it. She's like, wait a minute, you're upside down. Oh, my God.
Welcome, Georgianne, into the chat. It's her first time.
Oh, nice. Hello,
Georgianne.
Hey,
hi, Jean.
And Lisa.
And Lisa.
Look at you guys. So cool. So who has snow? Like legitimate snow cover? We have none.
I do.
So jealous. We have.
I'm not.
I am. You don't like the snow at all?
No, I get cold. I like to be warm. I like to go barefoot all the time. So snow doesn't work so well with going barefoot.
Do you get snow, Susan?
We might occasionally get, like snowfall, but it's not going to stay on the ground for very long.
Cool. See, I cannot live someplace where I don't see snow. And I feel like I'm going to have to move if I'm going to continue to persist with that. I'd have to go to Utah or Montana or something. Hey, Beth. So Patty, wait, what? Hold on. Let me get to the one I can see. Do you think my package will just stay in Indy? I don't know, Lisa. I have no idea. Michelle's stayed in Indianapolis for, is she here yet? Michelle Rowe. I think it was almost 10 days, a week, 10 days, something like that. It just stayed in Indy forever. And what's really frustrating is Lisa lives north of me. The same distance as in Indianapolis, south of me. So her package went to Indianapolis to turn around and go back north. That makes no sense, right? Yeah. Of course, I sent one to Lori who lives in New York, and it went all the way to Hawaii first. They sent it to Hawaii and then to New York.
I sent a package to the UK and it's been saying San Francisco since December 4th. So I don't know if it's lost or not.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still here in the States?
Well, the last thing it shows was December 4th, that it was on a plane for the UK on December 4th. So whether it actually left the terminal or is stuck in customs, I don't know.
Right? Brimfield is on my bucket list, Jody. It's going to happen. For sure. For sure. And it's probably not any different drive time. I mean, I can't imagine that it would be much different drive time. Saw something else I was going to respond to. Georgianne singing White Christmas, hoping.
We're
Yes,
supposed to get rain.
right? I did get them, Jean. They are here. Yep. And I haven't opened them yet because I'm going to do an unboxing. I have yours. I have another one, and I'm waiting for one more. So I'm going to do them all at one time. We're going to unbox them. That was fun that night. So, yeah, they got to the East Coast faster than they got here. It's a little ridiculous. It's weird, right? Sorry about that. Christine's like, wait, I can see your hands in two places. Oh my gosh.
That is a little weird.
Well, you know, I got to keep you guys guessing. You know. Of course, you see how close the logo is to my head? We were playing with that before we came on too. If I put a little effort into it, I can make the logo my head. Oh my gosh. So, anywho, in case you guys, hadn't quite guessed, I wanted to talk a little bit about copyright stuff. And not like in a legal, format or anything like that. Just basic, general information. So, if you guys have questions now, we can answer, but mostly Susan. You're a published author, yes?
Yes, I am.
Yes,
Yeah,
I thought so.
A bunch of children's books.
That's what I thought. So I just feel like you bring a lot more knowledge than I do, and maybe a different knowledge. So, hey, Lori.
Hi, Lori.
And I've told you guys, our son-in-law is a singer-songwriter. So, all of his stuff is copyright. And, that's their livelihood. And, it becomes important for a whole bunch of different reasons. But I don't want to preach at anybody or anything like that. So I don't want any of this to be taken that way. I just want it to be like, just, if you have questions, if you're uncertain about things, everybody's always afraid. I don't want to ask and look like the dumb one. I'll ask all the dumb questions. I don't care. Because if I don't ask, I don't know. And I would rather know than guess and get it wrong. Free Spirit, I don't remember your name. I know you've been here. I just don't remember your name. Or I've seen you in other chats, but I know I should know your name. And welcome, by the way. How was that for an awkward welcome? So I just put these on the table because there's a couple of these that I really do have questions about. And Susan, I thought maybe we could start there as like a jumping off point and just let the conversation organically go wherever it goes.
Sure. And before we get started, though, I do want to remind people, I'm not a lawyer, never been a lawyer, never studied law. This is just something, as Patty says, from my published writing background, I became very conscious of copyright when I would discover a copy of my book that had been put into some PDF form and been put out on some website that everybody could download for free. And then I went to my publisher and said, you got to do something about this. You got to get them to take it down. This isn't right. They're stealing from me because, contrary to what people might have in their fantasy world, writers don't get paid very much money, kind of like artists and journal makers.
Right.
And so I kind of got obsessed about copyright with that. And then when I went into working more with art and looking at, starting off with glue books and magazine images and things and thinking, okay, this is good. Well, somebody said you should frame this and you put this in a frame and you should put it in a show and you should sell it. And I started thinking about all these magazine images I had cut out that were not mine. You know, I had glued them down, but I hadn't done much to make them unique.
Right.
So my knowledge comes from research and passion, not from law school. That's all I want to say.
Right. But see, that makes perfectly good sense. I mean, all of that. But like, okay, so you mentioned glue books. So most of us know what a Dover book is, and that they always, well, that's okay. That's another question. I'm going to start right there. Are all Dover books copyright free?
No.
Okay.
That's the easy answer. You are advised to go to the Dover website, because I just had this recently. We had a bookstore go out of business a couple years ago here, and I went, down there every week to see what else they were pulling out of the basement to see what I could buy. And I picked up a whole bunch of Dover books, and I'd forgotten I had them. And I was in scan mode, and I went and dug out my books and said, okay, so which ones of these are actually copyright free and which ones of these aren't? And some of them, you go to the Dover website and they will tell you, these have been compiled by so-and-so. And because they've been compiled by so-and-so and they've done they've done the editing, they've maybe merged images and something, I don't feel comfortable, even though Dover advertises them as public domain or copyright free or royalty free images, unless I see the words public domain, I tend to shy away from them. And the very first thing people say is, what if I'm going to use it in my own work? I'm not going to sell anything. And my question to you is, how do you know?
Right.
Because I never expected to have people asking to buy some of my collages that were primarily with mixed media backgrounds and magazine images. And yet people have offered to buy those from me. And so you need to think, okay, is this okay to sell like that? Because I haven't scanned it, because that's two different things as well.
Right.
So no, not all Dover publications are. A lot of them are, but Dover has a lot of information on their website where you can find that out.
So then, is there a difference between copyright free and public domain?
Yes and no.
I mean, is it as complicated as it sounds, or is there like a short
So
version?
Public domain means all bets are off, go for it.
Okay.
See, Zoe agrees with me.
100%.
I like it when I get, people behind me. Copyright free could mean that, I don't know the legal background on it, but when you're looking at copyright, there are people that will release something into the public domain, but they'll put a copyright, or they'll put a public domain mark on it, like Creative Commons mark, and you'll see CC0, CC1, CC2. And a lot of those, CC1 will say that somebody it might still be under copyright, but they're waiving they own it, the museum owns it, but they're waiving the rights to it.
Okay.
And then when you get to other ones like CC2, 3, and 4, some of them say, well, you can sell it, but you can't alter it. You have to sell it as it is, and you have to attribute where you got it from. And I don't know about you, but if I use, 100 images in my journal, I'm not going to go through and say, okay, this one came from the Getty Museum, this one came from this museum, which is why I steer people back towards just plain old public domain or CC0, or some of the museums now are using something called open access. So they'll be called OAs.
Okay. I didn't know what that one was. I have seen that one, but I didn't know what that one. That makes perfect sense.
I think the Metropolitan Museum of Art uses OA for open access.
Okay.
And so when you go to any of these places to search for an image online, usually you have to put in, you put in your search term, you're looking for dog. You get, 10,000 results, and you can't use all of those. There's usually an option where it'll say, like at the Met, search only for open access, or at the New York Public Library, it'll say search for only public domain. And so then you can reduce your search by that, but you usually have to put in a search term first, and then you can restrict it even farther to things that are useful to you.
Okay. Welcome to everybody coming in. I see you all. And Lorna just said some things may be copyright free, but not royalty free. So the difference there is.
I don't know how to explain the difference between that, except that royalty, you're going to be paying somebody something.
Right.
You know, songwriters get paid royalties, book
That's
writers.
what I was just going to say, kind of like music on your YouTube video and intro. Right. Okay, that kind of situation. Okay. And it's just that whole concept, but in print form.
Right.
Okay. So like this one says that it's copyright free. So, and I'm going to play a lot of devil's advocate just because I can. So
it's your show, your rules.
Yeah, well, only because I feel like that's how we're going to get to some better understanding.
Right.
So like this says that it's copyright free. That being said, if I were doing graphic illustrations, I could use these in that situation, yes?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Okay. So for what we do, since I don't do digitals and I'm not making graphics, I can't just cut this girl out and do a collage with her and then scan that and then print it and then turn around and sell it during a sale, correct? That's not acceptable.
You know, I don't know. I mean, it's an area that I don't fully understand.
Right. Because there are no definitives, right? There's so much gray.
You know, Dover has put those things together. And again, that's where I would go to the Dover website and see a little bit, if you can get a little bit more information about it.
Okay.
I think in a lot of the areas like that, it becomes a personal thing. You know, Are you going to do that? Or are you going to go someplace where you can definitively know that this is in public domain?
Right. So, but without hesitation, I can't just take this and scan this page. Like I can't just cut this page out because Lorna says, oh my gosh, I have to have that page. Take that out, scan it, and sell me a copy. You keep that absolutely, right? No?
I would not do that.
I don't think so either. I just feel like that's not... I mean, there's some great images. I wish I could. But I don't think that I don't think that I would be comfortable doing it either.
I mean, you think about the word is copyright, and that is the right to copy.
Yep.
You know, and you pay for the right to copy.
True. I wonder if they have a phone number, if we could call, because I would call them and be on the phone with them for hours to figure it out and understand it. I would, because I want to know, because I don't know how well, or I don't know how much you listen to me, but I'm not a gray area girl. I like black and white.
Sure. It's a lot easier if you have it in black and white.
Yeah. So we'll move away from the Dover because I knew Dover was going to be one of those. It's going to leave a lot of things unanswered, but we would be able to answer some things. You're probably familiar with
comment down here about how much it's been altered, and Lorna points out it has to be altered over 70%. So if you scan a picture from that book, what can you do to make that 70% difference? And no, making it, you know, going from black and white to sepia and changing the size is not enough of a change.
Okay. So I remember hearing one time something about you had to make 7 significant changes, alterations, whichever term you want to use. Is that the same as the 70%? Like if 100% was 10, if you could break 100% of it into 10.
I suppose that's a good way to look at it. Yeah. You know, but again, it means, you know, one of those 7 things cannot be just changing the color.
Right.
You know, you need to be significant changes. You know, cleaning up a couple pixels is not a significant change.
So it would have to be more, well, see, that goes back to the graphics, and I'm not the graphics girl, so I don't want to be the graphics girl. So you're probably familiar with Kate Greenaway, right?
Yep.
So hers always say, at least all the ones I have, say copyright, all rights reserved. So does that mean way out of screen. So does that mean these are never going to come out of copyright?
I don't know. I haven't looked up Kate's stuff for a while. I tend to stay away from things that I find a lot of people wanting to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, you know, in my opinion, it depends on whether or not the family owns a copyright. And so you would have to, you know, that particular book is all is copyrighted as a whole like that. There may be individual Kate Greenaway images that are out of copyright, but what happens in a lot of cases, such as, I don't know if you have an Edith Holden book in there, but the family owns the copyright on the Edith Holden books, and everybody keeps thinking, these are free, they came out years ago, they're old enough, but the family keeps renewing that copyright. So there is a copyright protection on those books. And so again, it comes down to, unless which is why I personally tend to stay away from a lot of books unless they're from like the 1800s. I like to do the digital search, because then if I'm getting it from something like the New York Public Library, or I'm getting it from the Getty Museum, I know that they have done the research to assure me that that is in the public domain. I'm careful where I get these things from. The books, again, you don't know whether the family has done something. Maybe Lorna knows a little bit more about Kate Greenaway. I don't know.
Well, I know Lorna knows a lot about copyright. Lucy knows a fair amount, if I'm remembering correctly. I think Lucy's another one that I've turned to with copyright questions. John, do I know John? I'm kind of curious. Hi, John. My brother's name is John, so I'm like, is this my brother John with a new ID? Or, but yeah, you're right. Money does have a lot to do with it. I mean, and when it's how people make their livings, it has to be, if any of us put all the time into doing some of these things, we would want it guarded as much as possible too, if it was our livelihood.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I don't know. My golden rule of thumb is, if I'm not sure, I just don't do it.
Exactly. There are so many, there's thousands upon thousands of images out there that you can use. And you don't have to be an artist, to be able to draw your own stuff, because there's stuff out there that you can use. Go to Raw Pixel. Raw Pixel's got a lot of great stuff there. Absolutely. Right. Images out there that, you can, if you just are willing to put in the time, you don't need to take a shortcut all the time, because the joy about the research is, I did this the other day. I was looking for one thing. It was like, okay, I need a couple more, things in this particular topic. And it sent me down this rabbit hole, which of course, then took me another couple days, but it was like, oh man, look at the ideas that are pumping, because you're doing this research. Whereas if you just went to a book and you gutted it, this is great. And you've got some stuff right away that you can use. But if you want to scan and you want to use the same image multiple times, go down those rabbit holes. It's so much fun.
Right. And see, so then these are the Peterson magazines. And this one is 1864. As far as I know, the Peterson magazines, none of them are still under copyright. And I've done, as much due diligence as I know how to do. So these, when I bring them out, I say, we can copy these, we can scan these, you can print them, you can do whatever you want with them.
I would say so too.
So I've looked, and I don't see anyone that still holds the copyright on the Petersons. So, these I figure are fair game from what I have been able to find out. But now, I do a lot of ledgers. How do you have any? I'm trying to think how I want to phrase this so it's a fair question to ask you.
Opinions, I have lots.
Are there copyrights on handwritten public documents? But then I don't know if it's fair to call this public, because it's a ledger that was done for a pharmacy. So would that make it private rather than public?
So the way I interpret anything that's public document like that is, it kind of, think of it like a celebrity thing. If it's a famous person, there's probably going to be some family, like, again, Edith Holden. If you found a bunch of Edith Holden letters, likelihood is that the family knows about those letters, even if they're in some museum and they are continuing to renew the copyright. Private ledgers like that, I would say no. That would be my personal opinion. Lorna, what do you think?
Because I just don't know if the year, because, 1923 was the magic copyright year for a long time, and now it's
Right.
1924. I still stick with 1923 just because it's a CYA thing. You know, I just stay with 1923 still, even though I know, you know, it's 1924. Right. But like, this is dated 1955. What is your gut feeling on copying? Like, if I wanted to scan these and print these and make them part of like a ledger building kit, would I be crossing a line by doing that with this?
Okay, in my opinion, if you're not mentioning, if there's not people's names in there, it's not, you know, you can't identify where that ledger came from and who it was a part of, I would feel okay using a handwritten ledger in a digital pack.
Nice.
That's my opinion.
Cool.
Somebody else might feel differently. Lorna said she didn't hear the question. The question, Lorna, was about copyright as it relates to ledgers like what Patty's got up there right now. If you can't identify where they're from, and they're handwritten, to me, it seems like they would be fair game. But if it said on there the particular business, and it was from the 50s or the 60s, then you're in that gray area.
Right. Because some of them that we have found, like I found one that had the individual original prescription slips, each little paper. So it had like doctors' names and things like that on them. So we kind of, go ahead.
If it was from before that time period, I would still think that would be okay.
Right. And we kind of had like a group discussion about it and kind of figured out, you know, how we all felt about it. But I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's, sometimes I'm just not sure. And like when it comes to the handwriting, I feel like as long as there's not somebody's personal information, and like you said, I can't attribute it by looking at it to a certain business from, you know, 60 years ago, then I feel like it's probably okay. But I didn't know if I was just feeling that way because I wanted to.
So Becky asked a question and Martha followed up on it, is if it wasn't published, doesn't that mean that there's no copyright? And the answer is no. As soon as you create something, every piece of art that you create, every poem you write, every song you write is copyrighted, you know, de facto copyrighted because you did it. You made that. It's yours. You know, the right to copy, again, it's the right to copy. So if you came to my house and I gave you a poem that I had written and said, you know, you seem to like this poem here, I want you to have a copy of it, you could not take that home and copy it just because it wasn't published. You couldn't copy it and sell it because it wasn't published. Now, what the copy, you can go in and there used to be many, many years ago when I was still submitting manuscripts on typewriters, you know, there was a big push to go ahead and file a copyright. Every time you finished a book, you should, you know, file a copyright like that. And that does make it maybe a little bit easier to fight a battle in a legal situation. But I could show you 25 drafts of my poem to show that that was mine and that you were copying it illegally.
Okay, which is the whole, well, there's copying and then there's plagiarism, and they're sort of a little bit hand in hand then, yeah?
Well, by me saying, if I gave you a copy of my poem and you took it home and digitized it and sold it in a kit, right, you know, Valentine's Day kit, that would be breaking two laws. One, you're my friend, you're not supposed to do that to me. And two, you know, yeah, you're copying without the permission. And then the plagiarism, yeah, where the plagiarism is when you are taking my poem and saying you wrote it. And so giving yourself credit for my work is plagiarism.
There we go. Okay. Okay, so.
Right. Free Spirit Arts mentions the poor man's copyright. We would take our songs and mail the original to ourselves. And yeah, that's something that we were told in writing as well. Mail a copy of the book to yourself and don't open it. And that way you've got the canceled thing on top of it.
But the key there is to not open it, correct?
Yeah, don't open it. Because that way they know that you haven't messed with anything. And, you know, it's, you know, again, if you have to fight in a lawsuit, then it's something to show. but it does not have to be filed with the Copyright Office. You do not have to pay a fee in order to claim the copyright on your own original work.
Right. So then there's this one, which I can't remember. I have two versions of this. Well, or two. This one doesn't have an actual date. I had to go find it. So with the help of Google, I was able to, oh my gosh, I just lost all my words. So it's not, I don't have the official copyright, but there's other ones, and they're like approximate 1900, circa 1900. There we go. How if you don't have the help of Google, how am I going to find this? To find out, what would you do first?
Well, I wouldn't use Google. I'd probably start with TinEye, and I would take a picture with my phone, and I would upload the picture to tineye.com, and that's TINE or TINEYE.com, which does the same thing as a Google reverse image search. And then I would see if I could identify what book that came from and where it shows up, and it'll give me a list of websites. And if you're not familiar with TinEye, I do have a short video on my channel that shows you how to navigate TinEye.
Nice.
And that's what I would do. And sometimes, I'll do that if I find a picture that I really like on, say, that famous place that we all like to go to for inspiration, Pinterest.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know where these images are coming from, and people are grabbing them and sticking them in their kits and selling them. And, I find a lot of great inspiration there, but I will take that image and I will copy the URL of that image and I will paste it into TinEye, and then I will follow the rabbit trail down until I see where that picture originated. And oftentimes it was on somebody's website, some original art that they did that, was replicating something in a style of the masters or something. And I find I can't use it because, that author is still alive, or that artist is still alive. But I use a reverse image search a lot if I've fallen in love with something and I have to know the answer. Or if I find a book like that, I would just keep searching images and see what I find.
Interesting. I'm going to do that with this. So this I was looking for one because I know I've had them in the past where it's like, hang on, let me grab the other one here. So I've got this one and I've got this one. So sometimes the covers will be just enough different. You can tell that they weren't printed at the same time. So say this one says it's copyright 1900 and this one says 1925. So if one, they're not both going to be out of copyright, right? The one that's 1925, even though it's the same images and the same text and everything, I can use the one, but not the other.
Yeah, and that's one of those areas I personally find very, very difficult because I do a lot of research at things like the Biodiversity Heritage Library that I'm sure a lot of us enjoy. And they'll have certain books that, annuals that are republished every year. And it's like, okay, if the same images are showing up in, like you said, the 1900s and then in 1925, how do I know if it's okay to use it? And for me personally, I usually walk away because I just, if they're still publishing them in the 40s and the 50s, I don't know. I don't know that they don't have the trouble now. People think they're going to get away with it. They're not going to look at something like me. But you have to understand how far AI has come. Artificial intelligence. They have robots that scan Etsy. They scan our YouTube videos. That's how they find the copyright strikes for music and reuse content. And AI is getting smarter and smarter all the time. So I would have no problem cutting up either one of those books to use the originals. But if I'm seeing copies of the same book that is being reprinted with the same images, I hesitate, and I think, again, there are so many other places out there that you can find images. I'm just not going to take a chance personally. And a lot of this becomes moral decisions that you have to make. You know, it's your own personal moral compass. You know, where do you draw your personal line in some of this stuff? And I am a Miss Goody Two Shoes, always have been. So that's where I draw my line. Your mileage may vary.
Right. And see, like I said, I don't do gray well. So if I'm not 100% sure, I'm not touching it. And I think that's part, and it's a kind of like a path of least resistance for me. I would rather use the original and just be done, because then it's more of a one of, and everybody doesn't have it. But I feel that way with digitals too. I tend to try to look for really some of the unknown creators that are doing digitals and use theirs, because you don't see them 100 different places all one. Because I mean, like, you put one out, we all stampede over there to buy it, and in a couple weeks we're all showing, look what I did with Susan's digitals, which is super cool.
Please.
But you know what I mean? We do the same thing with Lorna's, and it's like, it doesn't mean that I love them any less. I still want them, and I want them in my digital file, but you probably won't see me use them for 6 months, because I'm going to wait till the stampede is done and then I'll play with them.
Perfect.
You know, and that's me, you know, that's just me. Hey, Paula.
So somebody asked the question why 1924 was the cutoff date. And that has to do, and there's, you know, you really need to know, if you're outside of the US, you need to know the copyright laws in your country. And on my Pinterest video, I have a link in the description on that one where you can go to learn the laws of each country. But basically it's 1924 because it's 70 years after the death in the United States, 50 years after the death of the artist or writer in Canada, and 99 years usually in other countries. But again, you need to, you know, if you're in Portugal, I don't know for sure, you're going to have to check.
Nice. Cool. So I'm sure we missed 9,000 questions because I was chatty, you guys. So if you had a question and we didn't read it, put it back in again, please. And Maggie or I will read your questions, and we'll let Susan answer them for us. You guys are so good to each other. Look at y'all. So let's see. Let me see. I'll just scroll up a little bit. Let's see. Oh, did you have a surprise for them that you wanted to share, Susan?
I did. So there is a special coupon you can use. Any of you that are here today, you can use the coupon Patty Saves, and I will offer 20% off for everything in the shop until the day after Christmas.
Cool. Do you want to grab your, if you will type hello in the chat, I will make you blue, and then you can pop your Etsy shop link in for them.
Okay. Let's see. Trying to figure out how to do that on.
It doesn't. You can type from any device. It doesn't matter.
Oh, it says private chat over here.
Oh, click at the top where it says comments.
Oh, there's the chat. I've been looking for you.
There you are.
Okay. Now let me find the bottom of the chat. Yeah, Patty Saves. No question. Okay, but now.
Yep, just type hello in there.
I don't see a place to
type.
It
won't let her chat, right, Maggie? It won't let her type.
So I sent you a message.
Let her put a link in, and you won't be able to give her a wrench in that chat.
That's okay. I sent you in the message. I sent you in a message. I sent you the link.
Oh, okay.
And then the coupon is Patty.
I have it, you guys. I have it.
Okay.
Jeez, a little.
Hey, Angela. Oh, it did truncate some of that. So make sure you use the coupon. Oh, there you go. Patty Saves. You can see it highlighted right in there. Patty Saves will give you the 20% off discount.
Very cool. You're awesome.
Well, you guys are all awesome, and I love the way we share our knowledge with one another and support one another through this community building that we do here with the lives, especially. My favorite thing to do.
Right? So I don't know. I'm super like I've never done like I call them taped. I know it's not taped. What is it, Maggie? Recorded?
Recorded?
She laughs at me all the time. She's like, it's recorded. I've never done one. And the idea of sitting here talking to myself is just too weird for me. So
laughing in the background is probably my husband. You can hear him. He's in a meeting in the other room, and even with the door closed, he's got such a great laugh. It carries over.
I think it's awesome. Oh my gosh, the other night we could hear the hubs in the garage working. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Christine. Oh my gosh, there's so many of you. Coco and Cheryl.
52 people. That's awesome.
It's very cool. They're a pretty awesome group. So I ran through all my questions, you guys. Those are the questions I had. So it is weird doing a live by yourself, right, Lisa? I think it's crazy weird. Okay, so Louise has a question. Back to the first book you brought out. Wouldn't it depend if that specific book is copyright specific? Okay, so the first, you mean the Dover book? This one?
Yeah, that's why it depends. You have to go to the Dover website to learn more about that particular book. I mean, I had like 10 Dover books, and of the research that I did, there are 3 of them that I can use to digitize, and the others I can only use as originals.
Okay, so all right, well then let's just do this. And you guys just keep asking questions. I will try to talk less so that I can read more.
And Coco says Dover is sneaky.
Right?
Here's the thing, okay? Let me tell you, here's my one tip for those of you that want to do digital designs and you're talking about Dover books. Yes, it's easier if you've got the books and you can scan something. But if you see, okay, she's got that Art Nouveau, however you say that book. Yeah. All right. You see that, you're not sure. Go to one of the typical copyright-free images sites that I tell you about. And again, you can go to my YouTube channel and you can see there's 9 videos on how to track some of those images down. Go to one of those and type in that title, because you're going to see a couple of images that are going to be similar to the book. And then you don't have to deal with all of this. You will know whether you can track them down.
Oh, nice. Good idea. Very good idea. So even though you're going to read in here where it says, so this one has a copyright of 1972, and it says all rights reserved under Pan American and international copyright conventions. Then, down here it says Art Nouveau and early Art Deco type and design belongs to the Dover Pictorial Archive series. Up to 10 illustrations from this book may be reproduced on any one project or in any single publication, free and without special permission. Wherever possible, include a credit line indicating the title of this book, author, and publisher. That's what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. And so do you really want to do that? Keep track of that kind of stuff for every image? Wouldn't it be easier? Open the book, Patty. Just open the book anywhere. Okay. If you take a picture of that with your phone and you upload that to TinEye, it's probably going to identify a place that you can go to find those images. And the other thing, like I said, is put the title of that book in, or just some of the key phrases, the description. You want Art Nouveau divider lines. You're going to see where they're coming from. Go to Pickrel, Picryl, I think is what it's called. They charge you now to download images, high-res images, but what they give you is so much information, because if you put in, you're searching for dogs, okay, you put in the search term dog, it's going to return, because what they are is an aggregator. So they scan all the places that have public domain images and they bring them back here and they show them to you. And how they make their money is for people that want to pay an annual fee to download as many high-res things as they want. But they give you, on every image, they tell you where it came from. They'll say, this came from the Library of Congress. You have the descriptive text. So take that descriptive text, go over to the Library of Congress, and get the original image for yourself.
Don't you think, as we've been talking and after reading that out loud within this conversation, I feel like some of the confusion maybe came from back in the day when people would use clip art.
Right.
Designers, and like I went right out of high school into a newspaper situation and did ads and things like that, and we had clip art books that we went to put together the and these are the things we would use to create the ads and such. Do you know what I mean? We had
Right.
clip art files and clip art books and binders and all that kind of stuff. I didn't have to do any of the legwork for the legalities because it was already done for me by whomever, but it was there for me to use to put ads and stuff together.
Right.
I
agree. I mean, you know, we would use these the clip art images to do advertising, and advertising was different back then too. We were doing print mode more rather than digital stuff. And this is all a new frontier. And we scrambled in a lot of ways to keep things legal when everything became so easy to copy and send across the internet.
Right.
But I mean, honestly, if you have a book like that, unless you're trying to, you know, create a huge digital shop of nothing in a certain type, you're probably not going to want to use the whole book. You're probably looking for a couple images for a specific digital kit you're working on or a junk journal you're making. And again, if you just take a little bit of extra time to do the research, you're going to find exactly what you're looking for anyways. I'm trying to find the link to a...
Oh, you're fine. We're under no time crunch.
Okay. And just trying to make sure I don't open something that accidentally going to start making noise.
Oh, if it does, it won't be the end of the world.
I love your attitude. All right.
If you have seen some of the faux pas that have happened while I'm at the wheel, her little bit of background noise is nothing, right, Maggie?
Right.
Okay. So,
oh my goodness.
I'm going to give you a message here. This is the link to the playlist that I have of all the places you can go to find free public domain images. Not that that's the be all end all, but that's the videos to date. And in that list is the how to use TinEye for research.
So I have to copy and paste this link directly for them, right?
Yeah, you'll have to do that.
Okay.
So can we trust that an image we find on public domain is free to use? You know, it depends on where you find it. Again, you know, go to trustworthy sites. There are some websites that say free to use images, and sometimes if they look, you know, again, it's a gut thing. If it looks a little shady, maybe it's a little shady.
Right.
I've seen some places that just post everybody's photos. They're grabbing things from Flickr. They're grabbing them from all over the place and then just saying free to use. And it's not free to use. It's just that they're using some kind of a script to populate it. But yeah, if you if it says, if you've gone to a reputable site like the New York Public Library, you've gone to the Dutch Museum, which is like one of my favorite places to go, everything's free at the Dutch Museum. And if you can see the image, it's free to use. And it says public domain, or it says open access, or it says CC0. CC0. Okay. CC1 is you get into some tricky areas sometimes, and they want you to add some marks. And if I was creating a painting or a collage that's going to hang on the wall, and I wanted to use something where I had to give attribution, I have no problem doing that. You know, I can do attribution on the, you know, back of my thing, and whenever I'm selling it, I can put that up there. But if you're making a journal and you've got, you know, 200 pages in your journal, you got to stop and think, do you really want to give attribution in there? How are you going to get away with it? You could do a little piece of paper that points out everything, but then you got to keep track of that. You know, you got to keep track of every image. And I just find it so much easier just to do.
So, okay, in that context, And like I said, I'm intentionally playing a little bit of devil's advocate. This one had, hang on tight, like here. These would be perfect journal pages, right?
Right.
So if this is another one that says I can use it up to 10 times. I think this, hang on. Let me get the wording right again before I run off here. Up to 10 illustrations may be reproduced for any one project. So I could, okay, so for one, say I wanted to make a set of 10 journals, right?
Right.
So I could pick up to 10 illustrations for that run of 10 journals, right?
Yeah, I guess that's the way that would be
Okay.
interpreted.
Okay, so if I wanted to do, say there was 10 different sets of these and I wanted to do them sporadically through it, if obviously I would have to scan them and print them to do that. Could I just write the information of the, what information would you use? Just Dover Publications, or would I have to use, here, I'll hold it up so you can see it. Not that I intend to do this, I'm just asking.
Yeah, I would probably, if I was going to offer attribution, I would use that entire thing from copyright all the way down to copyright conventions.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, that whole first little blurb. Okay. And then you could just stick it underneath here,
Yep.
right? Okay.
Yep.
Because that's the way I read it and that's the way I understood it. But again, I mean, with no, you know, I feel like the
right there.
legalities of it all are so daunting sometimes. But I don't know. It's just, this is a really cute one, but I would be more inclined to just pull this page out and actually use the page.
Right. And that's what's fun about the Dover stuff. They give you a lot of images to play with the originals. But again, I just say it's, you know, take a little bit, we're always in a rush. We want to get this right now, and we want to use this right now, and we want to digitize this right now. And what if we just backed up a little bit and, again, looked at the research that we need to do to use something with a clear heart and a clear mind, and looked at that as an adventure? That's part of the process. Part of the process before creating any art project is gathering your supplies, shopping in your studio or in your barn to see things. And then for me, part of that process is making sure that I have all my ducks in a row when it comes to copyright.
Right.
And if I'm in doubt, I just leave it out and use something else.
So now, like, going from this part of the copyright, how do we understand, like, I see a conversation going on between Lorna and Coco, and it's nothing inappropriate. I don't mean that. But for the girls who do digitals or who are thinking about doing digitals, how do you police, I don't know what other word to use,
Other
the
people?
use of your digitals being done properly and not, I mean, and how do you handle it when it's not being done properly?
It's a scary thing because, like I said, when I was in the publishing world, I had, I could call my agent and say, hey, I just saw somebody's got a copy of, Can I Pray With My Eyes Open up on their website, and they're doing the whole thing word for word. And so then she could deal with contacting the publishers, and they would give them a cease and desist letter. When I was writing for newspapers, I would find my articles when websites were kind of new and blogs were new. I would see articles that I had published, not when I worked at the newspaper, but when I was, they were in magazines and stuff, and people would republish it on their blog. And I would send a letter and say, hey, normally I get $150 for an article of that length. You owe me $150, or you need to take that off the website. And most of the times I got paid. In the digi world with art, because everything is so fast, out there on the internet, you can't see it all. You can't find it all. And so you count on friends saying, hey, I just saw something that looks like, so-and-so's, such and such kit, and then you let your friends know. And then, it's very hard to enforce. It's very hard to enforce. And again, it's a moral choice that we each have to make about how we're going to deal with sharing our stuff. I have one friend that's an amazing artist, she's got a backlog of material that would make fabulous digikits. And she said, I can't deal with the fact that I know somebody's going to steal my work. So she's just opted to not do that. She will only sell her art in physical form. She's not going to digitize anything because she knows emotionally she couldn't handle it. So
because I mean, and I'm not the one to throw around names, but there was one of the well-known ladies on YouTube that was doing digitals, and you know, that place overseas.
Yep. AliExpress steals a lot of stuff. There have been entire Etsy shops that have been, they've done some kind of a programming thing where they make it look like you're buying a journal from, you know, from me, but really the money is going to this other weird shop that isn't really part of Etsy. And Etsy was very good when they find those. Etsy's very good about taking those down and fighting, doing that battle for you.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's hard. Something on AliExpress, you can't do it. You know, I know 3 people that have had things show up repeatedly on AliExpress, and you can't fight them.
And that's just, I mean, I shouldn't say just, that's individual people, because AliExpress is like an Etsy platform, right? It's people,
Right.
individual sellers coming on to.
Yeah. And any of us that sell DigiKits, we get very nervous if somebody comes in and buys one of everything in the shop, because then you think, okay, that's it. I'm going to see it showing up on one of these little other platforms very soon.
Well, thankfully, my Etsy name is, if they Google me, it'll bring them back to YouTube and they'll see who I am. Because I am that goofball. I very rarely buy 1 or 2 from somebody. I buy 5 or 6 at a time.
Yeah. So,
because I don't want to have to remember to go back and get it, you know, 3 months from now. I buy what I like, and I'm very like, I binge shop digitals. I guess that's how I should put that.
That's fine. We like that. We like that.
That is kind of how I shop digis.
So Christine says, and Lorna answered, but I want to say it for anybody that didn't see the question, can digitals be printed and then sold as ephemera if they are decorated? And 99.9% of the time, the answer is no. You may find a rare person that will say it's fine to digitize it. I have seen a couple of those, but again, they're usually asking for attribution. And where are you, if you make a tag, are you going to want to put that other Etsy shop name on that tag? If you want to buy stuff that you can decorate and do things with, you're better off, rather than, you know, taking, because, you know, our DigiKits don't sell for much money. Lorna and I, our kits are cheap. You know, you guys are getting a bargain. And then we, you know, anyways, you go to some place like Creative Market and buy a kit and buy a commercial license. It's going to cost you more. You might pay, you know, $25 for a commercial license, but that will give you the right to copy it and do whatever you want with it. And sometimes
I always forget about the commercial license until somebody says it.
Yeah. You know, but you can buy the DigiKit, decorate it, and sell the physical item. Because again, copyright is the right to copy.
But I think that's what she would, and I think that's what she was asking you too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a difference. I mean, if you buy my kit and make a lot of ephemera from it, and then you put the physical items that you have made in your shop, go for it. Awesome. And send me a picture, because I want to see what you make with my stuff. You know, it's just that you cannot physically copy it or digitize it and then go ahead and sell the digital copy. And that's what you will see all over the place now with licenses, and why you have to pay more for a commercial license is because you're paying for the right to copy that indefinitely. Usually it's indefinitely. Sometimes it might be limited to, say, 10,000 copies or something.
Yeah, because I'm making 10,000 copies. Nope. Nope.
Yeah, Christine, print it out, decorate it, and then sell it. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
How you feeling over there, Mags? You got any questions?
No, because I watched Susan's video and it answered a lot of questions that I didn't know about before. And I think when I first started, I was confused about the actual word copyright, meaning you don't have the right to copy, or you do have the right to copy. So, And also Pinterest. I mean, when I first started out and everybody was using all these images from Pinterest, I thought it was okay to use them. And then I found out it wasn't.
Yeah.
So now I don't even go to Pinterest anymore. I just buy digitals.
Yeah, I don't like going to Pinterest only because I don't want to have to do the research.
Right.
I'd rather spend the time creating something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Lorna's pointing out, even with a creative license or an extended license from someplace like Creative Market, you are limited to how many copies of something you can make.
Okay. Nice. So, let's see. You guys have any more questions?
And if you come up with a question later after we're not here, just go over to my channel and drop me a comment, and I will answer it as best as I can.
Did I put a link? I don't think I put a link to your YouTube in. Hold on.
You were going to.
I was going to.
Find me, just, you know, my channel is my name, so.
Let's see here. It should pull right up for me. There you are.
Thank you all for making me think today. I appreciate it.
Every Wednesday, right, Susan?
Right. Oh, every Wednesday I'm live, yeah, at noon PST.
Kathy Short has a question about photos, but she hasn't put the question in yet.
Oh, good call. Yes. Oh, thanks, Paula. Patty from Martha. The book says you can use them up to 10 times, but does it say they can be reproduced? Hold on, let's see.
Yes, photos fall into the same category as artwork or drawings. They are copyrighted as well. And it becomes much more difficult because they're not in book form, so it becomes much more difficult to find them, find out, you know, the history of them, which is why doing a reverse image search through something like TinEye is so good. So,
yeah, and if you buy photos, you can use them as originals. Some you just can't copy them.
yeah.
And that's what gets confusing, I think.
Okay. So if you didn't have a chance to get that all read, you can at least come back and pause it and then read it.
Yeah, Lorna's like, I've been a fine art photographer for many years. She'll give you a rant to end all rants about that. And it's, you know, it all comes back to basic common sense. If you're not sure, don't use it. Use the physical object and go find something else that's, you know, that you're okay with scanning. Now we know if Patty holds something up close, she's holding it up over her head.
Usually, if you couldn't see me right there, I probably would have stood up. When you guys can't see me, I just stand up because it's way easier, because then it doesn't wobble all over the place, you know, like this. Oh my gosh. So, and there's a difference between like Lorna's fine art photos and old vintage snapshots or the old cabinet cards, right?
Right. And for the most part, you're probably okay. But if you're searching online, a lot of famous photos that you think, you know, they happened maybe long enough ago that you think they're okay, but they might have been taken by a newspaper photographer, and they might be under something like McBain News Services is one that I see a lot. And some of them are copyright free or okay to use and been released into the public domain, and some of them are not. Library of Congress has a great catalog in their prints and photographs division. Lots of black and white photos that you can use, a lot of vintage photos you can use there. But the cabinet cards, I tend to think that cabinet cards are okay.
Okay. Oh, I know. I had a specific question about a specific art, and it just came back to me. Except I'm losing her last name. The one that did the well-known fairies, like her work with the fairies, CC.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know.
Lorna knows and Louise knows. One of them will pop it in. Do you remember her name, Maggie? You love her
No.
stuff.
I know, and I can't think of her name.
I'm seeing a lot of people. I shouldn't say that. That's not entirely fair.
Cicely, somebody?
Yes, Cicely.
Yeah.
Yes. She, I know I saw some people doing the digitals with her work. I thought all of her stuff was still copyright in an Edith Holden sort of way, that her family was renewing and still holding all those copyrights. So I was really confused to see the digitals, and it's a couple of them are pretty well known digital people, and they've got a tremendous amount of sales, and I'm just like,
Yeah, I tend to believe that particular artist, that those books are still in the, Cicely Marie Barker.
There we go. Thank you.
That the stuff is still copyrighted, that you cannot use it. And there are people, because the family is maintaining a copyright on that. And, I mean, what can you do? You cannot be somebody else's conscience.
Nope.
And that's what's really hard. And for those of us that follow the rules, it fries my boat. It really does, because it's like, okay, here I am following the rules, and here you are over here not following the rules. But I can't make them follow the rules. And all I can do is follow my own moral compass and do what I know is right.
And that's when I just kind of leave it to,
yep.
I mean, without sounding, karma and the universe. It'll all sort itself out, and I don't have to be involved.
Yeah. So Cicely and Edith Holden, no matter what anybody tells you, Edith Holden is still under copyright. I don't care how old it is. She is still under copyright. Buy the books. The more you buy the books, the more expensive they get, because supply and demand.
Yeah. Although that being said, those of you that have a half-price books by you, if you're looking for Edith Holden, the Cicely Barker books, any of those, keep an eye out in those stores, because I don't have one close to me, but anytime we're out, any place urban and there's one around, I'll go in, and I almost always can find one or the other. And that's where I find a lot of my Kate Greenaway books too. Kate Greenaway is one of my favorites. Like the way you all are all about, I like Edith, don't get me wrong, but I'm a Kate girl all day.
Yeah. There's also a couple of eBay sellers, Thrift Books, and I can't remember the name, World of Books. If you just keep watching with them, they tend to come up with stuff, and they have free shipping. So they tend to come up with a lot of the favorite books that we enjoy.
Mm-hmm. It's thriftbooks.com, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. They have a website too.
Yep. And I've gotten a lot of really nice floral books. Hauser, he does a lot of the really, really nice florals. The plates. I don't have as much look on books. As much luck, not luck. Oh my gosh.
So Lorna says the newer reprinted Edith Holden books are catching on, and they are changing the copyright to not allow us to use even the physical copies.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, what? The newer reprinted Ediths. So how is that worded?
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. I only have a couple. I don't use Edith very often.
Me either. Hey, Christina. Right? But what would the wording be, I wonder?
Well, and none of the Ediths can be digitized. So you're saying that they're saying in their newer copyrights that you can't tear the book apart and use it?
I feel like that's incorrect. If I paid for the book, I should be able to, physically do what I want with the paper. I'm not saying copy it, but I mean.
Yeah. Huh. I have not checked that one out yet. That'll be some research that we need to do.
Yeah. I think if I get to run errands tomorrow, I may run through a Barnes and Noble and see if they have one. And if I find, I can take a picture of it and I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
if I
that would be
find a
good.
new
Thank
one.
you. Thank you.
Yep, and then we'll know. Probably they will change the size of the book or the shape of the page would be my bet. Or you know what I mean? If they're going to change a copyright like that, to be able to totally control that, they would have to change so that they would visually know. They would have to, like, don't you think, distort the proportion of the pages a little?
Yeah, I would think so, but
so that even the illustration was a little different.
I don't see how they can stop you from using the book any way you want it, though, the original pages.
I don't see how you can enforce something like that.
Hi, Nancy.
Right, Nancy? Yeah. And sometimes you feel like it's that particular, but, you know, I don't know. I see it from both sides, I guess. If I was the one putting all the work into creating something, I would be really miffed if somebody else was then, and especially without any recognition for where it came from, even if it wasn't from a monetary standpoint, even just a simple, hey, look, I found this by so-and-so, and, you know, I was able to do blah, 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 blah with it. Sometimes that just is the last insult, I think, is the fact that people just want to claim everything as their own when it's not.
And it doesn't cost you anything to pass on the credit. It doesn't. And you earn good karma. You earn goodwill by saying, thank you, Patty. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Lorna, for inspiring me with your blah, 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 because now I made this.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't cost you anything, and it earns so much goodwill.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I struggle with that. And it just is so irksome. It really is.
Yeah, it's a pet peeve of mine to see people using things. I mean, granted, there are no new ideas. You know, we're not creating something brand new, and I could give you all the same writing assignment and hold up the same picture and tell you to write a story on it, and I would get 50 different stories. But we all take our inspiration from other creators, and it's only common decency to share the credit.
Right. I mean, the circle was only created one time.
Exactly.
Fire was only invented one time. I mean, that's kind of how I feel about all of this. It's like,
so nice. Love is All You Need asks, if buying digis on Etsy, do you feel it's safe? Are we supposed to check those as well? You know, you would like to think that everything is safe, but if you see a website or you see an Etsy store that is selling Harry Potter digikits, I would not buy anything from that shop personally, because Harry Potter is copyright.
Or Edith Holden,
yeah,
Cicely, or, you know, if you, exactly like what you were saying, if you, I don't know, I feel like there's a little bit of buyer beware, sort of, but not drastically, but more like buyer education, you know, like there is a certain amount of responsibility, I feel like, especially if we're going to use it creatively. You know, I don't want to wind up in trouble because say Susan puts a kit out there and it's got, you know, Edith Holden in it, and I buy it and I use it. Guess what? I'm in trouble before Susan is.
Right. Until she points the finger at me, you know, then, you know, I got my money already. Right. So, you know, it's a little bit of buyer beware, and it's a little bit, because I don't want to, you know, I can't call out any particular shops. I don't know anybody, but you guys know the people that we tell you all the time that Edith Holden's in copyright, Cicely Barker's in copyright. You know that the big, you know, Disney, anything Disney is copyright. Mm-hmm. Disney goes around and they are taking that stuff out of the shops as soon as they see it. So if I saw a shop that had one DigiKit that I knew was still under copyright, the characters are still under copyright, it would make me doubt everything in that shop, which just says, you know, yeah, don't be a jerk. Lorna says, don't be a jerk. And don't be a jerk if you're a shopper or if you're a seller. if I put together an Edith Holden kit, after I've been here and I've spent an hour chatting with you guys about this, if I put together an Edith Holden kit and put it in my shop, you guys would lose any respect you had for me as a seller. My shop would stop selling things because you guys would say, did you see what Susan did?
Yep.
Because, we spread the word, the bad words, as much as we spread much more easily than we spread the good words. Much more easily. So,
and isn't it interesting that the negative flows so much faster than the positive?
I know. Yeah, Flower Fair. Yeah.
Yep.
There's so much of the stuff out there that's copyrighted. So yeah, I don't want to lose your respect as one of my shoppers. I appreciate every one of you that's ever bought a kit from me or that might find one that appeals to them in the future. And I'm going to do my due diligence to make sure that you guys don't have to worry about it. And I know Lorna does the same things. Lorna keeps herself awake at night, not sleeping because she's worried about making things right in her shop. So shop, and you learn the people that care about you. And because we care about you, we're trying to give you the best possible merchandise to buy. So those are the shops, hopefully, that you patronize.
There you go.
The other ones, you just walk on by because karma's going to catch up with them. It will. It's got to.
Yeah, very well said.
What about Alice in Wonderland? Because I see a lot of Alice in Wonderland stuff out there.
So it depends. Are you going back to the very old original Lewis Carroll books with the original illustrations? Then you're probably okay.
Okay.
Do not do any of the Disney ripoffs. Don't do any of the Disney kits. Disney, Alice in Wonderland might be really exciting, but again, the police
right.
are going to, the Etsy police are going to come by those shops and say, no. So yeah, Alice is out of copyright, but again, it depends on where you're getting it from, Laura's pointing out. So yeah, the old Lewis Carroll books, if you've got those, you can find those. You can find those images online. You can search Alice in Wonderland. There's lots of images everywhere, but just stay away from the Disney version.
Okay, so Kim had a Southpaw is Kim. She said, so shop selling pages of Edith. Is that not right? So
that is not right.
Unless it's the actual legit pages.
The actual pages, yes. Unless, again, what Lorna was saying, I don't know how they could enforce that, but Lorna's saying that there is some issues around the physical pages. But digitized pages, no. Physical pages, in my opinion, are okay.
And Gabrielle has a question. And I wondered if we were going to go into rubber stamps. Are you comfortable with that, or is that?
I will give you my one thought on rubber stamps. I don't use a whole lot of stamped images, but I know there's people that have massive collections. Rubber stamps, you're going to have to go to every company, and if you know the company of your rubber stamp, awesome. Go to every company and check out their angel policies, and it is different from company to company. Some of them say you can go ahead and use it for personal use only. Some of them say you can use it however you want. Some of them say you can use it for limited digital items. I wouldn't ever digitize anything I made with a rubber stamp if I had not carved that stamp myself. That's my opinion.
Well said.
Well, I think the confusion too is they're saying, is it okay to use them when you're making a journal? Can you use a specific stamp in the journal?
And I think most of the time there is no reason you can't do that. I have seen a couple of rare instances where people say, oh, no, you can't sell anything you've made with my stamp. But I think most of the time the angel policies are fine with you making a physical item and selling it. It's the mass reproduction that they're against, right? Because what's to keep them from, that's how they make their money. They sell a stamp once and you can use it on your cards, your journals, and what have you.
But that kind of overlaps into stencils too, right? That whole same concept. Okay, so that being said, you guys, just real quick, because I don't want all these questions to roll off. Oop, they're about to. Hold on. I'm marking them. Is IOD is really good about that. And theirs are made knowing that we're all using it on furniture and home decor items and pillows. And I mean, they encourage it. So you're always good with IOD. Just know that.
Nice.
And then where'd she go? Christina was the first one I said. And yeah, Christina, we talked about that there's a designer, a digital designer, and a vendor on AliExpress had copied them all, we discussed that. And then Becky wanted to know, is Beatrice Potter out of copyright?
Yeah, I believe she is. Again, I don't use Beatrix Potter's stuff, so I would have to do my own research on that. But
Lorna says she is in Canada, so
okay,
buy a
good. So if it's in
Canadian printed
Canada,
book.
then it usually is in the U.S.
And Lisa Jameson says, so if I have a little golden book that says Disney Peter Pan book, can I make a journal out of it and sell it?
You can make a physical journal out of it and sell it. You may not scan and digitize any part of anything that says that would be traced back to Disney.
Cool. See, and I didn't realize that. I thought they didn't even want you using the book covers, like how we repurpose book covers. So that's kind of cool, because that's one big reason I shied away from all the little golden book situation, is because I didn't even want to have to deal with it. So that's cool. And Eileen says you cannot sell die cuts that you cut out from Sizzix. Oh, interesting.
I did not know that.
But you can't. So in that, Eileen, so I can't just sit here with a die cutter and crank out 100. So say this came from a Sizzix die. I can't crank out 100 of these and sell them, but I can cut the die. I can make this a tag. I can collage on top of it, stick it in my journal, and it's okay, right? As long as it's altered, it's okay. Yes, but I can't just sell blank cut dies.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Sizzix, so I can't speak to that.
Oh, no worries, Christina. Good heavens, that was easy. I just wanted you to know that we had read the question.
So yeah, as Lorna says, taking a book apart and altering it to make a journal is a different law.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and don't scan the IODs. Yeah, you're not allowed to scan them. But like they do all the molds, almost all of my molds for my paper clay and resin are IODs. A lot of my stamps that you guys really like, I've gotten a lot of stencils from them. And that's what they're intended for, is for us to alter things and to sell it. So, I mean, they know that we're altering and repurposing things to resell it. So you're good with IOD. I don't know about thousands of something, but I know that you're good with them.
So Love Is All You Need wanted to know about direct quotes.
Mm-hmm.
So I sell a lot of quote packages. And again, this comes down to a personal preference, and you get into the gray area of fair use, and you get into celebrity quotes, and you see all these memes all over the internet, and you're thinking, oh, I want to throw all these things up on a t-shirt and sell them. I prefer myself to only use quotes that I know for a fact are in the public domain, that have been said by somebody way back before time. That is a personal preference I make with any of the packs that I put together. It's either going to be quotes that I have written myself or quotes that I know are in the public domain, because then you're getting into, like I said, this whole, there's this great sentence in this book and I want to make it, I want to use it in my journal. Well, use it in your physical journal is fine. Digitizing it, again, they'll say, well, it's only, a 1/100th% of this book, but it might be what that book has become known for. And then it changes the significance of the quality of the quality of the significance of that to the book, which then the author might come back and say, hey, that just explains my entire book right there in that quote. You can't, and again, why tamper with the chance of having somebody come out and slap your hand?
Right. Okay, so for those of you asking about IOD, Becky answered it. It's Iron Orchid Design, and I put the link into their website. And then if you guys want other places to shop for them, just holler in the Facebook group and I'll give you some more links. If you need some distributors to buy them from. My goodness. I don't know about you, but I get like live stream brain. Like all of a sudden your vocabulary is like, it's like the Rolodex won't keep up quick enough. Yeah, the whale tail punch. Yep, are Stampin' Up.
So Deb's Crafting Room says she's been listening and she has a question about the Mickey Mouse scrapbook paper. You can't sell, you can't digitize it. Again, copyright means the right to copy. At its most basic definition, the right to copy. So they're selling Mickey Mouse scrapbook paper. You buy the Mickey Mouse scrapbook paper and you make a journal and you sell the journal. That's fine, because the scrapbook company has paid a licensing fee to the Disney company in order to create that design. You know, so if you go to, I don't know any of the, Graphics 45 is the only scrapbook company I know. So if they had made Disney scrapbook paper and you bought it from Graphic 45, you can guarantee that they have a license agreement with Disney in order to sell that.
Yep.
But you cannot digitize it.
Yes, correct. Correct. And Sandy, if I'm reading your question correctly, absolutely. You're absolutely.
Yeah, you
correct.
can use the original, Sandy, but you cannot scan it.
Yep.
Yeah, yep. I know, Leslie. It's kind of it's a big headache, but really it comes down to, you know, if we simplify this as much as we can, it comes down to common sense. If you don't know for sure, don't use it. If you want to use it anyways, do a reverse image search to find out the history of the image. And if you're still not sure, don't use it, because there are so many other images out there that you could find. And, you know, I would love to have a place where you guys, I mean, in the group, in Patty's group, if you can't find something, you're looking for a certain image, post that you're looking for, you know, mermaids. You know, we all know mermaids, but say you were looking for mermaids and you couldn't find mermaids anywhere. You post what you're looking for. You know, one of us can help you out.
Yep, that's a great idea. It's a great idea.
Sandy, I am grateful that you wanted to make sure. It is super, makes me super happy when people ask the questions so that they can be sure that they're following the rules. Because like I said, longtime rule follower here.
Yeah. See, and like Lorna, I mean, depends on how nice she wants to be to me in this moment. But
she had a nap. She should be good.
Yeah. Whenever I have a question about anything I'm doing with Lorna's kits, I always go to her and ask her, this is what I'm doing. I want to use your kit. Can I do this?
And you know what? Lorna does the same thing if she's using somebody else's kit and she's not sure about something. I do the same thing. You go back and you ask. And again, this just comes back to this community that we are creating here. We are like-minded, mostly women, like-minded creative souls that want to create. We want to create digitally. We want to create physically. We want to create, and then we want to share those creations. And so you support one another. You ask questions. You answer questions. Maybe you have the answer to that question somebody else has down the road. You share information. You give credit. And you just do the whole golden rule thing because it comes back to you. It absolutely comes back to you. If you don't do the golden rule, karma's going to get you.
Yep.
At least I hope so.
And Deb, if you bought the paper from Michael's, then nobody should be telling you that you can't sell it. I just want to put that out there. As long as you didn't scan it and reprint it, I don't see the problem.
Absolutely.
And Lisa she said, so one of my watercolor still lifes could not be copied and sold by someone else. I'm going to say correct.
Correct. Absolutely.
And Kathy Berg is asking, what about napkins? That would fall under paper, yes? I mean,
well, napkins and stamps, and not just the rubber stamps. Did you know that your postage stamps are copyrighted?
I had heard something about that, and I'm so thrilled to hear that because I just bought half a truckload of stamps. Okay, that many, but
so people want to buy the physical ones. They need the physical ones so they can use the physical ones.
Yes. So that being said, you guys, remember the haul I showed? Those big boxes? Some of those are chock full of postage and foreign postage. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Good.
Keep an eye out if you're looking for original ones. But money is copyrighted. You're not supposed to scan and print images of money either.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, if it's somebody used their creative talents to create something, and just think about, okay, here's a napkin and it's this beautiful napkin and you love it. No, you can't scan that napkin and use it as a digital. And you'll notice some of the big name people and that make a point of saying when they're working on like mixed media pieces, they'll get to a certain point and they'll say, okay, I'm going to scan this now because once I do these next steps, I can't scan it. That is being smart. That is following the golden rule. I respect that artist because she respects copyright.
Well, but see, she also sees it from the other side. If it was hers, she wouldn't want us to get to the completed state and then scan it and for it to be wrong.
Exactly.
So let's see here. So Kathy said, if you use a napkin in collage, can you scan and sell as a digital?
Again, can you, if you've got a big napkin and you've used this little corner of it, maybe, and it's disguised, I tend to not scan anything that I've used a napkin on. That's just me. I tend to say, no, I'm not going to take a chance. It's your own moral compass again. It's a personal thing. It's your own moral compass.
Yep. Unless you want to go to federal prison, right?
They don't let us have glue there, probably, or scissors. They wouldn't let us have scissors.
No scissors for sure.
No needles and thread.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. So let's see here.
Yeah. Leslie, I love it. Leslie says, I can't copy money. How am I going to pay Patty?
Oh my gosh. Monopoly money. Let's use Monopoly. Oh my gosh. That would be so much fun, you guys. Oh my gosh. I'm going to send you guys. I'm going to buy a whole bunch of Monopoly money now. I have an idea. You guys watch. It's going to be fun. Don't let me forget. Remind me once in a while about Monopoly money. Yeah, that'll be fun. Oh my God. Yeah, that'll be fun. Well, yeah, but Martha was special.
Yeah. Oh yeah, knitting needles too, right?
Hey, Laura. Yeah, he's coming in tomorrow night. And his sister's picking him up. So he gets in at like midnight in Chicago. So he's gonna spend the night with them. And I think plans have changed a little. I think because they just closed on their house today. So then I think he's gonna spend Wednesday with them, helping them move and haul stuff. And then we'll go up Thursday and pick him up. So plans have changed. I don't think you can scan Monopoly money. I think it's probably copyrighted. Without even looking, I would be willing to bet money. Ha! Pun intended. Oh my gosh. So let's see. So all that being said, if you guys are done with questions, we're probably actually going to wrap up. I may come back on later. We'll see. But Philip called and wanted to show me around the new house. And he called like 5 minutes before he hit the live button. So I promised him I would call him back.
Well, thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. Thanks for letting me hang out with you guys tonight and give me lots to think about, and maybe some more videos coming in the future about it.
Nice. Very cool. I like to listen to anything somebody has to say about copyright because I feel like it's one of those things. It's always going to evolve a little bit.
Yeah.
And there's so much. My brain is little.
You're welcome, Christine. Welcome, everybody. Have an awesome holiday for everybody.
Yep. All right, Lisa, hey, are you coming on tonight? Is anybody else going to go live tonight? Because if somebody else is going to go live, then I won't. But let's see. Thanks for coming, you guys. It was fun. Good conversation. Let's see. Yep. Merry Christmas. Yep. Merry Christmas. See, I'm so not in Christmas spirit. I hadn't even thought to say Merry Christmas, everybody. It's not even.
Lisa said hadn't planned on it.
Okay. Okie dokie. Yeah, I may get a house tour and turn the camera back on and just, I might be sorting stamps or playing with stuff. Who knows? Oh my gosh. Yeah, and 20% off at Susan's. Don't forget. Did we get the link in there? Let me post it. I'll put it in the Facebook for you guys because she's going to let it go. How long did you say, Susan?
Go till the day after Christmas.
Yep, till the day after Christmas. So I'll make sure I put it in the group for you guys. I'll give you a link to her YouTube and her Etsy and the coupon code. Okay? That'll work. Or you can do it if you get to it before I do, Susan. One of us will do it. One of us will get it in there. So, oh, you're welcome, Laura. You're very welcome. I love the name of your shop, Poppiness.
Poppiness, because poppies make me smile.
Right? So, Maggie, you said you're going to go on tomorrow night, right?
I think so. Yep.
Yep. Cool.
I'll plan on it.
Awesome. Everybody has Maggie's channel link, right? And she always posts in the group too before she goes on. So
yeah.
Yep. And if anybody's wondering the group I'm talking about, I've got a Facebook group for Sacred Mementos. The link is in the description box. So, and Louise helps me so I don't run too far amok over there. She keeps me under control, that Louise. She's pretty good that way. So, all right, you guys, thank you very much. I'll either be back tonight or, I don't know, either Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, might be late, early. I don't know. I'm just I'm not committing, but you'll see me over the holiday time. Kind of like Thanksgiving. I don't want anybody sitting at home all alone the whole holiday. So I'll pop in and do something.
Thanks, Louise.
We'll do something. We'll make something. I don't know. Maybe I'll bring dinner and you guys can eat dinner with me. I'm just kidding. Nobody wants to eat dinner live. That's gross. But yeah, I'll come hang out with you guys for a little while at some point over the holiday. So everybody be happy, be healthy, and we'll see you later.
Yep. Stay safe.
Yes.